Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Startup Convo. This is an opportunity to talk with people who are thinking about starting a business or getting ready to start a business. Maybe you've already started a business and you need some additional assistance. Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Daniel McCrane. I'm the Chief Growth Strategist with McCrane Associates. My company works with business owners to implement strategies that don't cost you anything or may have a very low cost, but the results are that it generates tens of thousands of dollars of revenue and profit without spending money on marketing or advertising. So that's the thing that we do at McCrane Associates. And so we work with small business owners just like you. Now, this conversation is about getting started in a business. I've had a lot of people talking to me lately about how to get started in a business. And while, frankly, the things that I do with businesses to help them to grow, to systematize, to lay a foundation for scalability, for long-term generational wealth building, really don't apply a whole lot to getting a business up and running, to getting started. However, I don't want to leave a lot of people just out there in the wind, out there in the cold, not able to figure out how to get their business started. So I want to have these conversations with people who want to start their business. And I want to say, let's make this a live conversation. Let's actually make this a conversation. So if you come into this video, if you find this video after it's been posted, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer questions. I'm happy to help steer you toward resources to get your business going. I feel very strongly that small businesses are the backbone of America. It's small business owners like you who are creating jobs. It's not these big corporations. Everybody looks at the large amount of employees who work at these large corporations, and they think they're the ones who are responsible for creating jobs and for running our economy. And that's just not true. Statistics put out by the Small Business Administration show that small businesses can make up as much as 60% or maybe even more of our gross domestic product. So they're the ones who are actually driving our economy. It's small business owners who are the ones who are actually creating the jobs for people. So when you are starting a company and you're creating jobs, think about it. You are providing opportunity for Americans in your community. You are building community. You're providing a way for someone to take care of their family, to put a roof over their heads, to feed their family, to send them to school, to provide for a future for their family. And that's a tremendous responsibility for you as a small business owner. And that's a fantastic mission for you as a small business owner. You are helping someone else to take care of their family. So I just feel so strongly for small business owners. And as you're getting started in your business, I want to make sure that you get a chance to achieve and to thrive. So today is about getting your business started. And so if you want to drop some comments wherever you're watching this, whatever platform you're on right now, feel free to add some comments. And I've got the ability to see those comments as they come in. I'm happy to do my best to answer questions about getting your business started, or at least to send you to some resources to help out with that. I do have a little bit of a topic to share with you today about starting your business. So I'll share this with you, but feel free to chime in comments if you want to remark on anything that I've said. Feel free to interrupt me and ask your own questions too. Just because I have a topic chosen doesn't mean that we need to stick to it. This really is a two-way conversation to help you get your business started today. So I'll just go ahead and dive in unless there are any comments anyone wants to throw in. But I do want to start a little bit about talking about what is a small business and what are some of the things that you need to do to get started on your small business. So we hear this phrase a lot. Small business gets used by lots of people all across the country, even around the world. I've mentioned to you already how important small business is to the economy in the U.S., and it's very substantial. We see businesses start and fail all the time. And so that's what I want to help you with. I want to take away as much of that opportunity for failure as I can. I want to put good information in your hands so you have the ability to succeed, to go as long as you want to. But let's face it, on the other side of things too, small business owners sometimes will shut down their business because their business has served a purpose. Maybe it was just a short-term bridge financially to get them somewhere. And so after a while, they just decide, okay, I don't need this business anymore. And so they put it away. Is that really a failure of the business? No, not really. But I'm afraid that sometimes that gets thrown into the statistics. So if you're a hopeful startup business owner right now and you're concerned about the risk of getting started, you see these statistics too. 9 out of 10 businesses fail. And then is that within the first 5 years, the first 10 years, is that within the first year? Statistics are all over the place on that. But honestly, some of those businesses were shut down by the business owner because the business owner no longer needed that business. So what's that risk level? Yes, there's still some risk. So if you're a startup business owner and you're trying to weigh that risk and decide, do I want to go forward with this? Let me just tell you, it's not quite as risky as you think it is. And there are so many resources. There's so much help out there for you to make sure that you can be successful. Just, I got to tell you though, if you've got any kind of pride going into this, if you're the kind of person who just says, oh no, I can't ask anybody for help, you are going to struggle. You do need to get someone to help you get through this. So there are lots and lots of services that are being offered to small business owners that will make it possible to keep their businesses running. Make sure that you do take advantage of the free resources available through the Small Business Association, through the small business development centers that are around. And wherever you are in the world watching this right now, at least in the US, make sure that you take advantage of those resources that are available to you. So just a little bit about a definition. What are we talking about when we talk about small business? A lot of times that term small business is used to describe a business with just a few employees. There really aren't any guidelines about what makes a small business. I know the Department of Labor kind of has a little bit of a definition. The IRS kind of uses a little bit of a definition, and it's kind of dependent on the number of employees that you have. But, that can be debated as well. Where do you draw that line? Generally speaking, small business would be up to 100 employees. But if you think 100 employees working for you, that's actually a pretty good sized company. Is that really a small business like we usually are talking about? Small businesses generally fall into these kind of categories. So it's used to describe like a sole proprietorship, maybe a partnership, or a privately owned company. And definitions could be a little bit different in different parts of the world too. So some business types that would be considered small businesses, maybe an accountant who's running their own practice could be a small business. A restaurant with just a handful of employees could be a small business. Like an Airbnb or something like that. Photographers, small retail shops, hairdressers, contractors who are doing home remodeling or electrical, air conditioning kind of stuff like that. Lawyers, even some small scale manufacturing could be small business too. A lot of times small businesses are just set up in somebody's house for a couple of reasons. So again, as you're evaluating how you want to get started with your business, here are some ideas for you. You might start just in your own house because that's going to be cost effective. Maybe you don't need to go rent an office or find warehouse space or something like that. If you can keep things in your house, first of all, are your operations small enough that you'll fit? Then also, are there any kind of regulations, city ordinances, things like that, wherever you're located, that would allow you to operate a business out of your house? Think about that. And of course, the convenience factor as well. It's nice to be able to roll out of bed and just walk over to your desk and get started with your day. Case in point. There are also some good tax reasons why you might want to have your business in your house as well. But running a business is a fantastic opportunity for you. I will tell you, as a small business owner myself, it is both terrifying and exciting at the same time. But it's a great way to introduce yourself to the world, to gain some business sense, get some business acumen about how to run a business. It's a great way to meet people, to get out and around. So for me, for an introvert who would prefer just to hide in some cave somewhere, I know that I need to have connection with other people. And so having a business gives me a chance to get out and meet other people too. I will tell you, though, it's important that you try to contain your costs as much as possible. Try not to spend a lot of money on getting your business started. So do take some time to go through some facts and figure out what it would take to get your business started. The library can be a really good source of information about what it takes to start a business financially. There are research assistants at the library who can point you to some resources like that. You can also get on the internet. I mentioned before, the SBA, the SBDC has resources available. And do some research. Look up some keywords on your industry, startup costs for your industry, whatever that is, and figure out what that would be. If possible, if you can work this out, do reach out to some experts. I'd be happy to talk with you a little bit about what it would take to get started. Reach out to other small business owners if that's possible. I know it might feel awkward to call someone up who potentially could be a competitor of yours. I know that where I'm located in this vicinity, I know that people around here are very accommodating. They're very open and willing to have a conversation with each other. I know that in my industry specifically, but I know that in other industries here in town, competitors are willing to collaborate. Because let's face it, I cannot own 100% of the market share in my city. I just can't. Even if I wanted to, I do not have the capacity to be able to own 100% of the market in my area. I am happy to share information with people who are my competitors in my location because, quite honestly, I really want to make sure that my clientele, small business owners, get a chance to survive and grow and create something that they can sell as an asset someday. That's foremost in my mind. And maybe that business owner and I don't click. Maybe we don't get along, but maybe they do with somebody else. Maybe they get along with somebody else better. What's more important to me is that the small business gets the chance that they need and gets the help that they need. It's not as important to me that I get a client. So depending on where you are as you're starting your business, you may find that that same kind of philosophy exists wherever you are too. And you may find someone who's willing to talk to you about starting your business who potentially is a competitor. So I'll say this as a business coach who works with business owners on their exit planning, their exit strategy. Coming alongside someone who's already doing what you want to do and maybe developing a relationship with them, maybe there's a possibility that you could work an arrangement where you end up buying them out. They may be ready to step away from their business. And so that could be a way for you to step into entrepreneurship without going through the whole startup process. So think about that too. consider if that could be an opportunity for you. Yes, I know it's fun to start your own business and it's exciting to do things like that, but don't give up on that opportunity. That could be a possibility. That could be a door for you to step into entrepreneurship and take over something that all the hard work's already been done. All right, but let's go back to getting started. And I also do want to throw out here too that anyone who happens to be watching this, if you're watching this right now, feel free to leave some comments. I'm monitoring those comments right now. I can see those as they come in. So if you do want to ask me any questions about starting a business while we're live here, go ahead and do that. And if you catch this video later, feel free to reach out to me, post a comment on the video, and then obviously I'll be notified about that, and I can reach back out to you and I can answer questions that way too. So it doesn't have to be live. Feel free to ask questions after the fact as well. All right, so let's talk about getting started. Some things to do to get started. Let me give you kind of a checklist here, and then you can sit down and work on some of these things, and you can go find the resources to help with that too. So the first thing you want to do, if you're still at this point, if it's not too late, is do a feasibility study on the business idea that you want to start. And so by doing that, describe what a typical customer would look like for you. Go into some detail about what your product or your service is. Do some research on your competition. You do need to know who's already doing this in the area. I do also want to mention that a lot of times for most of you, probably 90% of you, it's a good idea if there are competitors in your area who are already doing what you want to do. And the reason I say that is, most small business startups think to themselves, I want to be in some kind of a niche that no one else is operating in, because then I'll be able to have the entire market. What I want to challenge you on with that kind of thinking is maybe no one is in that niche because there are no customers there. So just think about that. It is sometimes a good idea to be in an area where you do have competition, because that proves that there are customers there who are willing to give you money. So think about that with your feasibility study. All right, some other things to think about for feasibility study. Who would your suppliers be? Do you need to have suppliers in place to purchase materials? What are you going to charge for your product or service? How are you going to market yourself? So those are just some of the questions that you need to think about. Do write some kind of a business plan. Now, I'm kind of on the fence about business plans. I say this from my own experience. I know that I have spent lots and lots of time creating a business plan because I'm really good about creating plans. I can create a plan. I can plan and plan and plan and plan, and I'm really good about working my plan over and revamping it and making sure it's a better plan. So I am such a good planner. Planning is not going to create a business by itself. You actually have to take action. So sometimes I'll say to people, can you write out your business plan on the back of a napkin? Can you simplify it enough so that you know exactly what you would need to do each and every day to move your business forward? Very simple. And just get started using a business plan like that. Now, obviously, that's not going to be good enough. If you were to try to go to the bank and get financing, you would have to show a more detailed business plan. But that's one of the things that I recommend to people. All right. So take the information that you got from your feasibility study, and this is a really important step that you want to include. Include a description of your company, goals, competitors, the market where you're going to be operating, what's the temperature of the market, the state of the market, things like that. Write down your financial information, and one very, very important point in your business plan, whether you do a simplified back of the napkin thing or whether you do a very elaborate 300-page business plan, because that's a thing, you can do that. Make sure that you write down how you intend to achieve your goals. This is so important. You have to have a marching plan to be able to move forward. What is your action plan to be able to generate revenue, to have profit, so that you can be in business? So that's an important point and a place where a lot of businesses end up failing. Another thing to do would be get your financing in place. So there are lots of ways that you can finance a company. It could be from your own personal savings. It could be credit cards or bank loans. If you do go for loans and you try to get some kind of a credit, you will have to have a business plan, and you need to know that business plan forward and backward. Here, I would recommend that you take a look at some Shark Tank episodes, get online, watch past episodes. Watch very carefully those people who know what they're talking about and get a deal with a shark, and watch what happens when those people don't know what they're talking about and all the sharks say to them, you don't know squat, I'm not going to partner with you. That's not who you want to be. So learn from those kind of examples. What kind of a structure your company is going to have. And I say this because I will tell you, as a business, your largest expense is going to be taxes. Now, if you're planning on having employees, you might think that payroll is a large expense, and it is, because with payroll, that includes your employees, the payroll, the workers' comp, the pension or retirement plan, benefits, if you're going to offer those. I mean, all of that stuff gets lumped together, and employees are a large expense. But I will tell you, taxes will probably be your largest expense. Your company structure is a great way to manage your taxes. Play by the rules, pay your taxes, of course, because the more you're paying in tax, well, hold on, I'm going to hesitate to say this. When your income rises and you pay more taxes to the government, that can actually be a measurement of, hey, you're winning because you're making more money, you're paying more taxes to the government. You do also need to keep your operating capital in your business so that you can continue to grow, so that you can continue to make more money. And a great way to do that would be by choosing a corporate structure. Now, sole proprietorship would be one type of business structure. I'm going to tell you, though, that everything flows through straight to you and gets taxed at your personal income tax level. It also does not give you, well, no, I'm not going to say that. I'm about to say things about taxes and accounting that I truly know nothing about. I'm not an expert in that area. I'm not going to give you advice about taxes and accounting. Please seek out the advice of a professional in this area. So I will tell you this, though. You've got sole proprietorship, partnerships, and there are a couple of incorporation opportunities. Each of these have their own advantages and disadvantages, so please seek out the advice of a tax professional. And when you're choosing a corporate structure, I'm going to tell you, ask for the advice of a lawyer and an accountant on your corporate structure. Sometimes the lawyer and the accountant have their own perspective on which corporate structure you should choose. Sometimes those can be in conflict with each other, and sometimes they will work together. So make sure that you consult the advice of both when you are choosing your corporate structure. All right, choosing a name for your company is a really good idea, and make sure that that name is available. Having a name that's not being used anywhere else is very, very important to your business. You want something that is not going to cause any kind of proprietary problems down the road. Now, if you choose a name that's very, very similar, but your businesses operate in completely different industries, a lot of times that might be okay. I can tell you about a case where I am located where that occurred. Two companies with very dissimilar industries chose the exact same name. And at first, they tried to operate independently and work things out. But because they're in the same location, they're in the same region, customers still got them confused, even though they were in completely different industries. And so now there were some, I don't know what to call it, some legal challenges. I'll at least say that. I don't know if it came to a lawsuit, but there's some legal challenges there. You can you can do let's see. You can do some research reports online. You can check for unique names in a database. You can actually pay to reserve your name. Other things that you need to do with your business name are check for permits or licenses that you may need. Call up your county courthouse or your local tax collector's office and find out about that. That would be the same place you would probably ask, are you able to run your business out of your house? So you want to make sure that you're in legal compliance with your local requirements. A business bank account and record keeping system is very important. Maybe work with a finance professional like a bookkeeper to get started on that. The bank is going to need to see some business documents, so you'll want to have those on hand when you go in to open your bank account. And record keeping is going to be vitally important, especially when it comes time to paying your taxes. But you also want to run regular reports against your business, like a profit and loss statement, to know if at a moment's notice, you need to know, are you winning the game? Are you bringing in more money than you're paying out? Or are you at least beginning to close that gap? All right, other things here real quick. Let's see. Yeah, I'll finish up here real quick. Insurance for your business is going to be very important. And depending on what industry you're in, that type of insurance will vary. So make sure that you work with an insurance agent on that. Decide where your business will be located. So if you are a physical business, location will be very important. Can your customers come find you? Can they access you? Or will you be online? Or a combination of both. So either one. So let's see, other things, getting supplies and office equipment. And I mean, we could go down a list there. I'm not going to go into those details. All right. Well, look at that. Somebody's trying to call me in the middle of a live event. That's not going to work out. That's what happens when we go live. Okay. Let me finish up here real quick. Office equipment, I was talking about that. You may need to purchase some office equipment. So overall, what I really want to say is make sure that you get some facts, get some information about what it's going to take to get your business started. That's really going to help you. It's good to have that foundation and know exactly where you're coming from and where you want to go with your business. Taking some time to do that research is really important, but don't be like me. Don't spend all your time doing research and not actually taking action. All right. So Wednesdays are Startup Convo. So if you want to join me to talk about business startup on Wednesdays, be happy to have a conversation with you about that. I'd love to have this be a two-way dialogue and help each other out. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and stop here, and I will see you next time we do another one of these startup convos. Everyone, have a great day, and to your success.